Hello, friends. Hello. Greetings from Mountain View, California, unceded Ohlone land, where I am, where it's been a little rainy overnight and a little chilly. Hope you're well, wherever in the world you are joining from. Lovely to join you this week and explore practices of compassion together. So, so the cultivation of compassion is done in this practice systematically, in this tradition, systematically in concentric circles. We start with ourselves, then we go to a category that's called benefactor, and then after that, dear friend. And today we'll explore the category of benefactor and dear friend. We'll join them together. But also we'll still practice with ourselves as well, because you can never have enough self-compassion. You cannot have enough self-compassion ever for yourself, especially in the West, when we tend to have a lot more judgment than kindness, compassion, understanding for this person who's us. Anyway, so let's continue. Let's practice together. So arriving in this body, arriving in this moment in time. And allowing our body to release any tightness, any holding. And connecting with the breath. Allowing the breath to be breathed in, the entirety of the in-breath and the entirety of the out-breath. Connecting with 3 deep diaphragmatic breaths in order to arrive and settle. Let the breath be breathed in, holding for a few seconds and breathing out. Let's do it together. One more. Breathing out. Third one, your own time. Letting the breath be natural. Comforting, soothing. Connecting to this moment here and now. To this body. However is showing up in this moment. Let your body soften, release. If there are thoughts arising, they're not needed right now. Giving our heart completely to this practice in this moment. Instead of ruminating, thinking, planning, connecting to stories, let them go. Not needed right now. They're all concepts, not needed. Stay with the simplicity of breathing right now. And turning our attention to the breath within the body. Anything that might be arising in the body that's challenging in this moment in time. And can we meet it with kindness? Can we meet it with compassion? Not wanting or forcing it to be any other way, but softening around it, breathing around it. Or if something is heavy in our heart, similarly, breathing with it, with kindness, with compassion. Letting go of the stories, but staying with the feeling, the sensations, and soothing with the breath. Here now. Filling our own cup with kindness. And if there's any challenges in this moment in time, kindness becomes compassion when it meets pain and suffering. Letting go of stories and thoughts and just staying with the simplicity of breathing in and breathing out kindness. And now let's invite to our heart space someone who's been a benefactor, has been really kind to us in our life. It's helpful if that person is still alive for this part of the practice. If you're not very experienced with cultivating compassion practice, karuna, someone who's been really kind, maybe a teacher, coach, a parent, a relative, or a friend, or a very good friend who's been there for us. If it's hard to come up with someone, could also be a person who's easy for us to have kindness or compassion. Could be a child. If they're a teenager now, maybe when they were a child, or even a pet. Pets are often benefactors in some way. Bringing this being close to your heart. And one aspect of their life, one thing that might be challenging or has been challenging. Doesn't have to be everything, but just one aspect. It could simply be that, oh yeah, they too have a body which ages and aches and needs care. Some other aspect that has been challenging for them. Connecting with this being in your heart, in your mind's eye. Connecting with this difficulty and, and meeting it with goodwill. Wishing them ease. Wishing them peace as they meet this challenge. As they face this difficulty, this pain. As if in your heart you're there for them. You are there for them. Your heart can feel expansive with its care. Not turning away from difficulty, but meeting difficulty, pain, with gentle kindness. It helps to really connect with the felt sense or the image of this being, to really bring this practice alive. And if you like, you can say some phrases silently. May you have ease. May you have peace with this difficulty, with this challenge, pain, sorrow, disappointment, whatever it might be. May you have peace and ease as you meet this challenge. May you be free from sorrow. May you have all the goodness, all the resources you need to meet this difficulty. I wish you well. keeping this dear being in mind, in your heart, their felt sense, really connecting with it, connecting with them, and connecting with their challenge, and holding the challenge with goodwill, with kindness, with wishes for its alleviation, for their strength, wishing them well. And making sure you feel stable, you're not falling into grief or overwhelm. But in your heart, inviting them to a place of stability with love and care. I wish you ease and peace. I wish you well. I wish you strength as you meet this challenge. You be free from sorrow. May you have ease. And for the last minutes of our practice, holding both ourselves and this dear being together in our heart space. May both of us have ease and peace in the midst of our challenges. May we meet our difficulties with kindness. May we be free from sorrow. I wish us well. I hold us with goodwill, with kindness, with compassion as we meet our difficulties. And appreciating ourselves for having showed up and cultivated, planted seeds of kindness, compassion for ourselves, for another being, and trusting that these seeds will germinate in their own time without attachment to outcome in this moment. And releasing this goodness, offering this goodness of our cultivation together to all beings everywhere. May my practice, may the turning of my heart towards goodness, kindness, compassion serve, be of service, not just to myself in my own life and those I know whose lives I touch, but everyone everywhere. May I live a life of compassion and wisdom. May I be of service to all beings everywhere. May all beings be well. May all beings be free. You for your practice, friends. And as we transition to the Dharmette, take a moment to transition the recordings if you feel like putting a word in the chat about what's arising for you, a word or short phrase, bringing into the space, if you like. Greetings, everyone. Thank you for your practice. And I just invited you if you wanted to put a word in chat about what's coming up after having done this practice of compassion, cultivating compassion for ourselves, and then turning to a benefactor or a friend, and really appreciating your offerings. Grateful for mind settling, gratitude, love, allow surprises. I love that. Compassion, love, intimacy, and a bit for more compassion towards my mother, once a benefactor, now in a lot of pain and need. I'll bring that in. Thank you for that. I'll bring that into the teaching, how these categories of friend and challenging being and neutral, they're all so shifting and changing all the time. And in fact, we can be at a given time, we can be ourselves, we can be our benefactor, we can be our own challenging person, the person we're having challenges with. So these categories, they're not fixed. So I appreciate that coming in, and without attachment to outcome. Yes. Present awareness of the breath of interaction. Noticing distraction, yes, reassurance, etc., etc. So many beautiful offerings. Yeah, timeliness. So as we continue our exploration this week of cultivating compassion, and just briefly to review that compassion is the love child of kindness, of metta, plus suffering. So when metta, kindness, loving kindness, love, goodwill, so many nuances of metta, meets challenges, meets pain, it becomes compassion. That's what compassion is. Meeting suffering with kindness, not meeting suffering with ignoring it, or, oh, I wish it was otherwise, or pushing it away, or anger, like, why is it happening now? Why is this person suffering? Why am I? No, with kindness. Oh, sweetheart. Yeah, this is hard. Yeah, this is hard. Acknowledging that it's hard. And yesterday we also talked about this cognitive aspect, because we need to appreciate, we need to understand, we need to really grok that, yes, this is hard. This is hard. This is hard. Anyone in this situation, myself or others, they would be having a hard time. This is hard. This is hard. And that, ouch, that this is hard acknowledgement is really the first and most important step. And then, of course, it is important to have to be moved by the emotional suffering and have a desire and intention to see the relief of it, to see it ease. So that kindness really coming and holding it. So a few more reflections today as we brought in, we first brought in ourselves, and then moved to bring in a dear friend or benefactor, someone who's been kind to us, or this category sometimes are put together as we did putting together. In traditional teachings, they're separate. Benefactor and dear friend are separate, but here we have 5 days and we usually bring them together. So this category actually, a lot of times for people practicing with the dear being, with these categories, we can fall into what's called empathetic distress, and compassion can become what's called its near enemy in the teachings. So in the classical language, there is the near enemy and there is a far enemy of all these practices. The near enemy is something that feels like compassion. It masquerades as compassion, but is not compassion. It's actually its enemy, but it's such a near enemy. It's like, so one near enemy of compassion, or one masquerader, if you want to use um, the not the classical language, but the masquerader is empathic distress, empathetic distress, and empathic distress um, is when you meet, when you acknowledge the suffering of someone who's dear to you, and this could happen for yourself as well. Of course, it's not just for others, but for example, I'm going to use the example of others. You meet their suffering, but you become so engaged with the suffering, and the kindness, the goodwill is not strong enough to hold it. So it falls into just suffering. So you're just suffering. You're not holding it with enough goodwill. It's out of balance. Compassion, when the goodwill, when the kindness is out of balance with meeting suffering, whoa, it tips into empathic distress. And empathic distress could feel like grief, can feel like, oh, this is so hard. I can't do this. I just, the compassion burnout. In fact, there is no compassion burnout, because compassion is always balanced with kindness. It's empathic burnout, when we're just empathizing, when we're just feeling someone's pain. And if you keep feeling someone's pain without the kindness, to that salve to support the feeling, then of course it's just too painful. So empathic distress also, it feels like if somebody is in the waves and they're suffering, you jump into the waves with them, and now you're both drowning. And it's not helpful to anyone, empathic distress. Whereas compassion, there's a sense of stability, and you're inviting them, you're extending a loving hand, and you're holding their hand, you're extending a branch to in your heart to wish them well. You're feeling, you're observing, you are with their suffering, but there's so much kindness and goodwill and stability of equanimity, that you're not falling into the suffering with them. This is a very important distinction I'm trying to make, because many people think that, say, oh, I can't do compassion, it's too hard, it's too painful. Actually, it's empathic distress that's painful. So we might have been practicing empathic distress, not compassion. Practicing compassion actually feels good. It feels lovely. It's uplifting. It uplifts your heart, your body, your mind. It has it feels good. The excuse me, bringing bringing in some research results. So when people are practicing empathic distress, when they're just feeling the suffering, not full compassion, but just empathizing, areas of the brain, networks of the brain light up in fMRI, and this has been studied by Tanya Singer and others, Klimecki and others, or lots of papers, where the area of the brain, the networks that light up, are just the networks of pain. And if you watch someone for example, if you watch a video of someone being poked, the same area of your brain that has to do with these with pain for this hand, it will light up. So similarly, that only the empathy part, if you're feeling someone else's pain, if you're just empathizing, areas of your brain that only have to do with pain, they light up. So of course, they'll just be painful, pain. You don't want to do that. However, studies, if someone in the fMRI actually is instructed and they know, and this has been actually studied with Matthew Ricard, the long-term monk, and really person who knows compassion, practice of compassion, and others too. With the practice of compassion, both there is the feeling, the excuse me, the areas of the brain that that light up when you feel someone else's pain light up, but also these other networks light up that have to do with kindness, with filial attachment, with warmth, with love, with all of those. So these two together make up compassion. It's not just feeling someone else's pain. Ooh, that's just pain, and it's not sustainable. But compassion holds this. So both of these networks, when they all light up, oh yeah, it's actually a beautiful practice. We're cultivating our heart to meet pain with love, with kindness, and it feels good. It feels good. There is a bittersweetness. There's a tenderness. So explore that for yourself, please. And the last quick thing I want to bring up is non-attachment to outcome. And we do this practice, we do this cultivation, both not attached to outcome. We're not going to call a person, okay, so I've been doing compassion for you. Is all your pain gone now? Is okay, attachment to outcome externally, and also attachment to outcome internally. And this could be a little confusing because, yes, we are doing this practice to cultivate compassion, but not attachment to results right now. Okay, I didn't feel anything in this practice. I didn't feel this universal compassion that I've heard about. I didn't feel it right now. What, why not? Why not? And you're planting seeds. Trust that they will actually, they will flower. These seeds will flower in their own time. So have patience. You are doing your part. You are doing your own cultivation. You're doing your piece, and let go of the rest. Do your best. Let go of the rest. So much more to say about the practice of compassion. There are more near enemies. Maybe I'll discuss them tomorrow. Pity being one of them. I'll discuss that. And may you practice compassion today, and be tuned to both feeling the suffering, but holding it with love, with care, both for yourself and for others, and tune into how differently that feels than just feeling the pain. And you can explore that for yourself and see that, yeah, it's very different. One is nourishing, the other is not. The other one is just pain. Wishing you well the rest of the day with your practice. Opportunities for practice, there are plenty of them. Life on earth is challenging for all of us. Being human is hard work, and actually being on earth is difficult. So thank you